Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, who has the environmental solutions the world needs, but no one has allowed since November of '93. If you haven't been here before, the solutions, they can't be argued against. The first five are achievable immediately and would have solved our problems long ago. It's just no one will allow solutions, and that is no one, starting with Vail, Gore, Redford, Sundance, the NRDC, and the United Nations since November '93, right up to Greta today, and everyone in between. Okay. And so, since they haven't allowed solutions and they say that we are at such a crisis point, they are now, yes, eating insects. They are talking about that could cut your environmental impact by more than 80%. Now that's bull, okay? Maybe in terms of your meat consumption, they could, cut it by 80%, but not while we still have a disposable society and people are still using, disposables like crazy and plastic garbage bags. That right there is probably our biggest environmental abuse and greenhouse gas emissions, all unnecessarily if we just went to, reusable homes, fast food, stadium concessions, and packaging and transportation packaging. Hemp. How about just turning off the 40% of unused electricity? And you could cut 40% of your electricity use. Okay, hemp, that would have solved many, many, many problems by now. So, yeah, I think this is very far fetched here, but it's Forbes, so they're yeah, they're right. Right. Okay. Right here, they talk about cutting your environmental impact with an advertisement for a private jet line. Okay. So, yeah, pay attention to Forbes as much as their advertising shows they care. So, right here, this is a tasting table. Europeans may soon be eating more insects. This band network. Welcome to your police state. You will eat crickets, drink pee. This is written by Mike Adams of Natural News and Brighteon. And Mike, I try. I still cannot, getting through to Mike. I use the email, but I'm like, how about talking about some real environmental, actions, real solutions? But, Mike's too busy just towing the line that global warming's not real, man. They're all a bunch of lunatics. He was just on the SGT report the other day. They're all just a bunch of lunatics. You know what, Mike? I'm not a lunatic. Okay, this is the solutions the world needs, and had anybody allowed them, our problems would have been solved, and the environment wouldn't be talking about and being talked about anymore. And I've asked Brighteon, I'm like, hey, I know I'm an unknown, but if Mike would give this credit, and if Mike would actually use his voice, responsibly about the environment and actually say, you know what, guys, this can't be argued against. This is really what we need. Everybody I rail against has prevented this. I would have a show on Brighteon. He has those TV shows out there. I can't even load videos up because you get some type of error, something internally in the video has different recording links. I don't know how. I used to load, videos up. Now, at the end of the SGT report, um, Sean said, I'm not on Brighteon anymore because I got an error, like trying to load something up a while ago. And I asked Brighteon, hey, can you tell me how to fix this error? You know what Mike told Sean? Oh, hey, just give me a call, man. We'll have a troubleshooting shooting session. Yeah. So I sent Mike an email saying, hey, could you make that, troubleshooting session public so that all the rest of us could get past this bug too? And yeah, I'm sure they don't really like me there at Brighteon because I challenged Mike. I challenge him to put out good information. And Mike doesn't want to do that. He wants to toe the line. He wants to spew his just ridiculousness that anybody who cares about keeping us in the one livable planet that we know of is a lunatic. Mike's all about the body. He's sells detox in his store, and yet, all of the pollutants from all of the processes in our disposable society and things that could be replaced with hemp are what produce all those toxins that go into the body that Mike then sells products to take out. Okay. And so does most every other, truth media person who won't give you good environmental information. So, but Mike won't do it. Okay. So know the truth about Mike Adams. Okay. But here he is. Um, you know, it says, meanwhile, while corrupt governments of the world are destroying domestic food supplies while cranking up cricket factories to mass produce billions of pounds of ground cricket meal to be used as health food for humans and pets. And Mike is opposed to that. He doesn't want to eat bugs. Thus, you will be told to eat crickets in order to save the planet from carbon dioxide, kind of like what this article here is claiming. But that's that's maybe 80% cutting your emissions 80% of if you would have used beef. Okay, but it is not your total environmental impact. I can guarantee you of that. And yes, buy Forbes magazine that advertises private jets right on top of an article talking about cutting your environmental impact. Okay, but here's the World Economic Forum. We'll just go through the 5 reasons why eating insects could reduce climate change. Let me see. Edible insects can produce equivalent amounts of quality protein when compared to animals. Insects require less care and upkeep than livestock. We're actually running out of protein. Yeah, especially when you're putting all the farmers out of business. yeah, that's a good way to run out of protein. Okay, so insects are a part of the virtuous eco cycle. So, okay, that's great. So isn't everything. And you can start small and work your way up. Now, of course, the World Economic Forum, they hate you. You are going to own nothing and love it. You will live under their New World Order totalitarian regime, and you will do what they say, and you will be lucky to have insects to eat because starvation is a method to control the people. Okay, so, under them, you'll be lucky. If your social credit score is high enough, you'll get insects. If not, good luck to you. Okay, so right here, why Europeans may soon be eating more insects. This says here to keep up with increasing number of population, which the numbers are there, food production will need to grow by 68% by 2050. Yeah, so there will be more demand for meat versus grains, leans, and wheats. Okay, so they say alternative proteins like insects are being explored on a global scale. Yeah, the estimated market value of edible insects in 2018 was about 306 million, is expected to increase to 1.2 billion by next year. In Europe, crickets, mealworms, and grasshoppers were officially certified as safe to be eaten by humans in 2021, and now another insect is joining that growing list. So Europe just approved the lesser mealworm, so for human consumption. Yeah, so that's great. Insect is set to begin ramping up production for the European market. So look forward to that on your next trip to Europe. Of course, if the World Economic Forum says you can get on a plane and go to Europe, I guess. But this right here says if you think you're just going to be served them on a plate, Think again. While the edible insects approved for sale in Europe can be sold in frozen, dried, and powdered form, it's often the powdered form that is incorporated into products. And that's true. That's true. There is this company that was out of Belgrade, Montana, Cowboy Crickets, and I don't know if they're still in business. This is their Facebook page, and there's nothing here. Their Twitter page, the last tweet that they have is from January 20th, 28th, 2020. If you go to their website right here, it doesn't take you to a Cowboy Cricket website. So I don't know if these guys are still in business, but they had this idea back in 2018. This guy James, his wife, came home and said that she presented an idea. What if they started a business farming insects for food? He felt that with an hour of internet research, he could demonstrate the numerous ways why such a business would fail. But then, right down here, according to a report released in April, it doesn't say what year, edible insects are expected to produce 723 million in global revenue by 2024. The report also noted how little land, water, and energy are required to farm edible insects compared to meat production, and how attainable the initial investment is. So sustainable increase in global population and decreasing resources are factors expected to drive demand for alternative food sources, the report says. Insects can be found across the globe, and they reproduce relatively quickly. So do rabbits. That's what you're going to be eating, just like they did in the Hunger Games. Farming and harvesting of edible insects provide farmers entrepreneurship opportunities across all economies. Yeah, you know what else does? Hemp. Okay? Where do you hear the World Economic Forum talking about hemp? Nowhere. Any environmental voices talking about hemp? Nowhere. They've all prevented it since November of 93. Donald Trump did more for the environment than anyone in the White House, anyone politically, and anyone working on the environment for 5 decades, because Donald Trump legalized hemp. And that can't be argued against. So it says here, cricket protein meal is a premium health food. You will soon see it touted as a replacement for whey protein and beef. So this cowboy cricket, that's the InfoWars article. That's Mikey Adams. But cowboy crickets, now they grind the crickets up, and they put it in flour. And they even had like some little bakery where they baked goods and sold goods. And so there's just, you can't find them anywhere anymore. I don't know what happened. Now, this right here is a Montana State University. This is out of Bozeman. Cowboy crickets. I met this guy one day just randomly, and we started talking. It was this guy James down here, and he was telling me they had investment opportunities at the time. I could even invest with them, and they put it into just foods because they put it into flour. So they make protein flour. Now, I don't know what happened. I do know that, yes, Montana State University, they have some department there that, if you have a good idea, you can get funding, potentially. You can at least apply. You have to be a student. Now, I asked Montana State University. I was even a worker there for 2 months until they found out that, the president is preventing me from achieving desperately needed global good. and I was working in their catering, and we probably served the president, I don't know, if I said 10 meals a week between breakfast, lunch, and dinner in meetings. I probably wouldn't even be exaggerating, okay? They actually had a man that was just devoted to working on the president's meals. Okay, like he just worked directly with her office. That's how much we served the president and how much I saw the president. And she is a miserable human being. She is, the Marxist communist that you have to be to run colleges these days. And she is preventing, ending our disposable society, leadership by example. She will not let her stadium concessions lead the world. If she went to reusable stadium concessions, she would lead the world and everyone would follow. And to this day, she will not allow it. She is proud to not allow it. The people that employ the sustainable worker that they have there, who is as virtually worthless as every other sustainable worker out there, proven by every global report that things are getting worse and worse, won't allow light years better work you know, than their employee who basically robs people's money. She gets paid off of people's tuition dollars and fee dollars and whatnot. She's robbing their money, doing an absolutely pathetic job. But she keeps a good job, and I was fired. Now, I never said anything to the president. I never would, but just the fact that they know, 2 months into me being there, I was like, yeah, and she holds up all this good. So I was removed, but MSU gave this guy money for crickets because that's the New World Order agenda. But MSU will not lead the world, right? A college university would not get their students environmentally literate and then tell the world, like, hey, man, if you learn this stuff, like our students, not only has the school and how they behave on campus, but their lives, they're incorporated into their lives. It's this easy. We need to do it. All of this could be being achieved. But the president of Montana State University, she is holding it up too. Yeah, but if you want to feed people bugs, you get funding. And even though it seems like maybe this guy's business isn't even still around now, let's see. If you search cowboy crickets, you come up with a lot of things. The only thing you can't come up with is their website or any posts that they do on social media. So I truly do not know if these people are still in business, but you would think that, Bill Gates would be throwing money at them. And now Bill Gates, even though he sat with Anderson Cooper and said we need to end our, disposable fast foods while he was sitting at a fast food place with all the fast food, wrappings, saying how horrible it was. Will Bill Gates do it? No, not for a decade or more. But, I mean, it would be in some respects hard to believe that this did go out of business because yeah, it is growing and it is being pushed by the powers that are. So should we be eating insects? I don't know. I mean, maybe they could be beneficial. Am I going to sit down to a plate of bugs? No. Yeah, maybe if they're ground up and put in flour, maybe. Do we have to end beef and chicken and the way we've been eating? No, no, I don't believe so. What we have to do is end our disposable society, gain individual cooperation, start living responsibly, turning off unused electricity, hemp. Start hanging your clothes out to dry. start just living responsibly, which doesn't mean that we have to live the way Mike Adams, likes to talk about how all the climate lunatics are going to make you live your life, because I'm not a lunatic. And if Mike would use his voice in a responsible manner about the environment, and the same for Alex Jones and every other, Sean from the SGT report, and Dave Hodges from the Common Sense Show, and Alex Newman, and Greg Hunter from USA Watchdog, on it, Dan for Press the Truth, Luke Radkowski, We Are Change, on and on and on and on. If they would actually use their voice responsibly for the environment, if James O'Keefe would do his job and live up to everything that he fraudulently says he and Project Veritas are, you would be getting good environmental information, and we wouldn't be, talking about you having to eat insects. It could be introduced as an alternative, and as free people, you could decide if you wanted it. And that's the way it should be. Now, if only we could get all the independent media to actually start doing their job. Yeah, good luck with that. I've been trying that forever too. So stay tuned, people, because this is the only place you're going to get real environmental information.